Morning, we're October 27th and this is a quick market update in the morning here in Asia. Today, however, I will summarize that market update and also talk about why I'm relatively excited about the price action of Bitcoin right now. So in terms of market update, on the traditional asset side there are two topics which really haven't changed from before but just kind of have increased recently. It's the coronavirus spread, which keeps on rising, and investors are kind of starting to feel like maybe perhaps it is something to worry about. And the second one is the stimulus bill negotiated between the Democrats and the Republicans, which was supposed to be fleshed out or ironed out last week and just clearly still hasn't. Investors turned risk off, so the S&P is down 1.9%. Treasuries, in the classic risk-off move, were bought, so the 10-year yield is actually down back to 0.8%, which has been a key level recently, and I mean that in the past 6 months or a year. And then gold is really holding on for dear life. It's stuck at 1,900, but really not looking strong or bullish in any way, just really staying in range. In the crypto space, we're doing great, not because we're moving up that much, but just because we're holding steady, especially in the face of traditional markets actually turning risk off. So Bitcoin is essentially flat at 13,050. Ethereum is down 2.8% at 394. Chainlink, which had touched upon $12.80, which is a key resistance level on the chart, went back down and is now at $11.80, so about 2.9% down. Litecoin, which had risen about 30% from Thursday last week, so when we started that big ramp up, went up 30%, down 3%, so which I feel is a totally understandable and acceptable kind of move down. And then the other alts I'm thinking of, Stellar, Cardano, Dash, are all down about 2 to 3%. Bitcoin Cash down 4.9%, 4.5%, sorry. And then Polkadot, which is kind of the exception, did not go down, actually went up about 8%, 8 or 9%. I haven't looked as to why that is, but really interesting to see on the chart that coin actually moved up when everything is turning a bit less bullish, let's say. That is for the price action in the crypto space. I want to mention why I think the current price move on Bitcoin right now is really optimistic. It really is. It's not based on fundamental. It's not really even based on technical analysis. It really just is a personal feeling as I look at the chart on a daily basis and keep on doing those market updates. We've been at 13K before. That's not really a big deal. We went there, during the ramp up of 2017 and even went much higher. Touched it down 2018, touched it again and even went to 14K in 2019. After that pretty big bull run that started when the central banks essentially stopped raising rates. So they weren't cutting rates, but they started not raising them anymore. And then 2020, we're back here. I do feel like the ramp up to 13K is very different though. It feels a lot stronger. It feels also a lot steadier. So if you look at the chart, it's a very clear trend up, but with also good periods of stagnation, some retracement, some correction, however you want to call it, but it hasn't been a straight line for sure. And people are very comfortable with the idea that we're above 10,500 at least. We've been in that range or at that level for a while, and now we're 12,900 or a bit above 13K and so on, and people are fine with it. What I think is an even bigger deal is that people who are not in the crypto space are okay with it. And I can't tell you the number of people who have reached out to me in the past couple of weeks or months, asking about Bitcoin to understand it, about how they can buy some in a safe way, or how they can safeguard it, meaning should they keep it on an exchange or cold wallet, and those kinds of questions. But also, just from a pure price perspective, I talk to a lot of people in finance who aren't invested in crypto. Maybe they don't like it, or they're undecided, or they're open to it, but they just haven't pulled the trigger. And they ask me, hey Justin, what's the price of Bitcoin right now? And I'm like, we're between 12,500 and 13,500. And nobody's shocked, basically. And I find that shocking in a good way. But the fact that we've moved up in such a fashion and that people who don't really believe in crypto are totally fine with Bitcoin being worth that much Whereas just 5 years ago, people were still wondering whether it was worth more than 1,000 US dollar. Just really astounds me in a positive way. I find that so great, because it feels like, okay, this is a price that people are comfortable with. Whether it's justified or not, that's where it is. Personally, of course, I think it's very justified, and of course I'm looking to much higher levels even in the future. But I think that this moment in time, it feels really positive, and also the fact that we're steady, as I mentioned before, in the face of the volatility in traditional markets is just, again, very optimistic. That's it for me. I think I've talked enough, but I hope you're feeling the enthusiasm. Have a great day and a great trading day.